Well, I'm a doctor, you see. Then I got an office in one of these one-story buildings with a little grass around it, real cozy out in the suburb. So I says to my nurse, we call nurse even though the public thinks that the receptionist is a nurse, so we go along with it. Used to work in a law office. Well, I said, nurse, send in the next patient. Well, the door opens, and there's this wall of blubber. It's too big to get through the door. So he swings it around, he makes it bulge out and flip-flop back and forth. And he's got it flip-flopping forward and backward. He darts through the door, then it flops out to the side, knocks over the furniture. Well, I've been in this business a while, so I know what to say. I direct him to the chair made out of railroad ties. We got one that looks real delicate. You know, it makes the blubber butts feel good to sit on something delicate. Actually, it's made of steel. Looks like wood. Well, anyway, I got him over there. Now it says, okay, Lord Butt. See, I use a lot of psychology all the time. They love it. What do you want? And he says he's losing his appetite. Well, I've been in this business a while. I know better to say, well, isn't that good? I say, what would you like me to do? And he more or less wants his appetite back. He's rambling around. So I say, do you have any idea what caused this loss? And he put cinnamon on a banana the day before. Oh, I've been in this business a while. I know better than say, well, what do you expect? So I say, what happened? Well, then I started losing my appetite, he said. Oh. No, I don't say, wasn't that good or anything like that, because that's not where the money is. And what would you like me to do? Well, he's still going on about what he thinks caused it. And it turns out that this is special cinnamon. It comes from Australia and outback. Yeah, it grows in the shade of rocks. And the whole central Australia is one big desert. And he has a supplier there, an Aborigine, and he sends him this cinnamon. I don't know why now that I think of it, but he doesn't like it so much. But it occurs to me that that's the business proposition here. If he has found something that actually works, that's worth $1 trillion. So I want to find out all I can about this stuff. And he doesn't know much of anything about it. He just sends for it and they send it to him. He says a plane crashed out in the desert. And amongst all the wreckage and the body parts and things, there was a Vogue magazine. So as an Aborigine supplier, he gets hold of this magazine. He sees all those slender, beautiful girls with the expression on their faces like they're looking death in the eyes. And he wants one. He's got wives already, but he wants one like that. Well, that's not too big a problem. I call up Horace and I say, God, I need a girl who looks like death to go on a special assignment to Australia. He says, sure. And he sends one over, and she arrives in a while. And I said, this is an assignment in Australian outback. She says, blimey, the horse is right on the ball. And she says, all right, give me a ticket. And I says, use your stupefying and good looks to get a ticket. He says, okay, and off you go. Huh? When you have good personnel, you don't have problems. So, hour later, I get a phone call, and she's in Australia. And she's in the plane, she's looking at nearly 3 guys with no clothes on, and they're her welcoming committee. Mm-hmm. And it turns out the one named Kong Dong is the guy that Mr. Blubber has been dealing with back here. So they travel out in the desert. And she tells him, Mr. Dong, I would love to have some of that cinnamon. Well, okay, sure, he doesn't care. It means nothing to him. And she gets a few pounds and she FedEx it back to my office here. Never heard of what happened to her. Anyway, I call Hank, the local machine shop, and say, I got some cinnamon. Can you got a press that can make that in little pills? Oh, sure. Hank always has those things. And I send a couple pounds over to him, and he makes thousands of little pills out of it. And I'm packaging them in this hourglass-shaped container. See, slimmer than hourglass. And I'm going to call it Lard Butt's Discovery. You know, that might be kind of a reverse psychology there. Except for Francois, the high fashion place, they get to call it Francois' Discovery, and they pay more. Well, it's selling pretty good. In fact, a very strange thing happens. It works. Well, that's good. Let's say that's good at this point. That sounds like it would be good, doesn't it? People are actually losing weight, and they're feeling good. There doesn't seem to be any problems at all. Not all that horrible feelings that people who lose weight usually go through. And it looks like I'm going to get richer than that guy who invented Facebook, and even faster than he did. But you may remember, I wasn't all that optimistic. Because in business, when something works, you've got to look out. There's something wrong. That's not standard business. Yeah. Well, in this world, there are some people who make more than billions of dollars. They make nearly $1 trillion. Yeah. And they not only have unlimited amounts of money, they tend to own the government. So I'm sitting in there raking in the money pretty good. Three federal officials show up and say, we have a paper from a certain Mr. Bigbucks, I won't mention his name, and he says that you stole a pharmaceutical discovery from him, and he wants it back, and he wants to know what it is. So I know better than to make jokes about that stupid thing like that, because I know they're not talking about being nicer, and they want that stuff because they make a lot of money. And so I say, well, I understand these things. I'm not really hostile to this. Well, how about a few $1,000,000 for me for such a great thing? It wouldn't mean anything to you. Well, the officials just dropped their faces kind of deadpan. Sort of like they heard somebody tell Hitler they were a Jew. So I'm not I know business, so I know what's going on. So I say, all right, I'll sign the paper. And they take the paper and they ask me, well, if you want me to tell Mr. Big Bucks that you want a few million, we will. But if you don't, we won't. So I'm thinking it over. And I say, use your own judgment. They don't think much of that, but they leave anyway. So I'm still sitting here. Been several days since then.